Hello, hello, and welcome back to some more The Talos Principle 2. You know, my original plan was only to play the base game of this, and then I ended up playing Talos Principle 1, and then I ended up playing the DLC for the Talos Principle 1, and then I played this, and now there is even more. Suddenly, surprisingly, unexpectedly, there is DLC for the Talos Principle 2. That's kind of twice this has happened now. I've finished a thing, and then immediately afterwards there's been, boom, suddenly DLC released, like, now. Sure. We have, not one, not two, but three more side stories to play. I'm just gonna go through them in order, I think, especially because the third one is supposed to be, by far the hardest. So we shall begin with Orpheus Ascending. Take your brain for a ride through the laser grid and explore the philosophy of love, death, and resurrection with Hypatia and Cerebi. The classic laser mechanics of the series are pushed to the limit in unexpected ways, testing your ability to think differently.
I think that's it. The new body's ready for the transfer. How's the reassembly algorithm?
Done.
Well then, somebody just needs to go in there and disentangle the data. Ah, and here comes our expert.
Thank you for agreeing to this one, Kay. Perhaps together we can right an old wrong. When I was lost in my own grief, I spent a lot of time thinking about Hypatia and Cerebi. How they found each other, how they lost each other, and how beautiful it would be if we could reunite them. For the longest time, it was only a daydream, but not anymore. In the myth of Orpheus, the ancient bard descends into the underworld to bring back his beloved wife, who died in a tragic accident. With the power of his music, he convinces Hades and Persephone to free her. But he is told that she must walk behind him, and he must not look back at her until they have left the underworld. And so, of course, in every version of the myth, he looks back. Because he doesn't trust the gods, or because he is an imperfect man, or because he simply forgets. And death is triumphant once again. We've accepted that triumph for a long time, because we had to, because what else could we do? But the world changes, and we are not the frightened, powerless creatures we once were. Perhaps it's time to say enough, and let Orpheus complete his ascent.
Well, here we are again, and isn't this familiar?
You will have to collect all of Cerebi's data fragments so that we can reconstruct her personality. I'll monitor you from here, just like last time.
Good luck, kiddo.
Central thing. Orpheus, how very Hades / Persona 3 of you. Right. One of my things that I didn't like most about the base game was that it was fairly easy. It was easier than Talos Principle 1, I think. And also it introduced a lot of mechanics and then didn't explore some of them all that well, because it was constantly throwing new stuff at you. And then it had to tutorialize the new stuff with fairly easy stuff to begin with all of the time. So hopefully we'll have opportunities here to more deeply explore some of the things. 16, huh? Old school terminal. Welcome to the internal messaging system, version at 0.4. User Sarabai, you have 3 unread messages. Open message not goodbye. From Hypatia to Sarabai. I don't know what this is. I don't know why I'm writing this. In all likelihood, you can't even read this because so little of your consciousness is left and what's left of your battery is dying. They say it's impossible to recover you and the backups are all destroyed. I wish we'd backed ourselves up in New Jerusalem before we left, but space was so limited and we would have had to wait so long. Except, of course, it's nothing compared to the empty years that stretch before me now. I don't have the words to express what you mean to me. I tried to sum it all up to say something elegant and beautiful and perfect, and I can't. Maybe it can't be said. Maybe it only exists as days and years live together, a sequence of moments bound together like a string of lights defying the darkness of the sky. I don't know. All I know is that this is not goodbye. It may be the end of you, of us, of who I was, but I will not say goodbye. Love you forever. Hypatia. And so it begins once more. Yield. Okay. Inverter. Okay. Not too much to work with here, but I think I know what's up. I can open it like that, but then you get blocked. There it goes. Oh.
When I was born, the first thing I felt was that I was alone. Not that I was lonely, but that I was separate, singular. There was the world, and there was myself, a contained entity. And this sense of separation, of a distinct self, was delightful. Individuality itself was a source of constant joy and wonder. What could be more incredible than to be able to say, I am?
We have the first fragment. Everything's looking good on our end.
Cool. I'll get back to you in a second. Number 2, crossing the river. Similar-ish setup. Okay, so... ton of beams to cross. How do I cross them all? Deselect that. That's a decent start. I think this is just fine. We just do this. And across we go. Do down.
As I grew, I realized that the more I developed this sense of self, the the more enjoyable it became simply to exist. It wasn't selflessness that improved existence, but refinement of the self. When the ancients said that ego is something to set aside, they got it all wrong. Ego is something to nourish and shape. A work of art.
The reconstruction's working. Keep going, 1K.
Sequence. Well, I can open this up remotely. Don't want to point at that. I can point at that, but I don't think that's gonna do too much. Hi. Like that, please. There we go. Perfect. Nothing too crazy here.
My insights into the value of the self were genuine, I think. But of course, I was completely inexperienced. In fact, in many ways, I was like a human child. So I began to resent everything that intruded on that sense of self. My social obligations to the others, the leadership of Athena and Cornelius, even the obvious limitations imposed on us by our situation. Why did I have to exist in this particular historical moment, saddled with the task of reconstructing civilization?
Yeah, these puzzles are pretty much all just building on the same block a laser with another laser, so that you can feed a third laser through the gap mechanic. Recover peace. It is upon those we love that we must anchor ourselves spiritually in the last moments. The sense of interconnectedness with them stands out vividly by way of contrast at the very moment when our mortal connection with them is about to be dissolved. And the intertwining of our life with theirs, the living in the life that is in them, is but a part of our existing in the infinite manifold of the spiritual life. The thought of this, as apprehended, not in terms of knowledge, but in immediate experience, begets the peace that passeth understanding. And it is upon the bosom of that peace that we can pass safely out of the realm of time and space. Thus are we put in training for a love which knows not sex, nor person, nor partiality, but which seeks virtue and wisdom everywhere, to the end of increasing virtue and wisdom. We are, by nature, observers, and therefore learners. That is our permanent state. But we are often made to feel that our affections are but tents of a night. Though, slowly, and with pain, the objects of the affections change, as the objects of thought do. There are moments when the affections rule and absorb the man, and make his happiness dependent on a person, or persons. But in health the mind is presently seen again, its overarching vault, bright with galaxies of immutable lights, and the warm loves and fears that swept over us as clouds, must lose their finite character and blend with God, to attain their own perfection. In what sense am I a Christian, then, if I care so little for dogma? In the sense that everything I do and think I follow the revelation of Jesus Christ, that the greatest of all things is love. Love is the nature of God, and equally the nature of that which was created in his image. This I have learned through the revelation that is daily life, through toil and misery and strife, and that infinite power that brings relief and joy. Thus I reject those who believe that the ordinary love of mortal beings is limited and that it ends with death. Rather, it is through love that we perceive the immortality of the soul, for it reveals that eternity is conceivable to the human mind when it is filled with love. It is because we know that we can love another together that we know that we are the children of God. I don't have much time left. I never thought it would end this way. Never thought I would die alone, sitting around in my apartment, wondering if things would have gone differently if we'd gotten that stupid grant. Mostly, though, I just wonder why we're not together. I still don't understand. I don't know why you had so much pain inside you. I don't know why you let it infect everything we had. I don't know why you couldn't see my love for you, why it twisted everything I said. I was angry and disappointed for so long, but now I wish I could have found some way to make that pain go away. I would give anything for that. I wish you were here. Vastness. I suppose the area is decently vast, sure. Well, there's an easy start. How does this open from over there? Whoop. I'm guessing I want to take this through, probably. This is going to be the same trick again, but it's slightly less simple this time, I think. Or it could just be that... I can do that. Then... that. Then that. It is not the same trick again. Nevertheless, still relatively straightforward.
With that focus on the self, also came an enormous and increasingly overwhelming fear of death. The pleasure of existence seemed almost erased by the possibility of its ending. If it was possible not to be, if the self had an ending, even in the distant future, then how could anything have meaning? I spent far too much time imagining that last moment, the moment just before I stopped existing. How could I possibly face that?
There is no greater joy in discovering something that you had never imagined. In that moment you understand that the world is better than it seems. Cool. Anything around here? Just a random bit of tree. There's stuff way up there as well. I think it's going to be more than just these 16 puzzles. There's going to be those 16 and then that stuff up there. So we'll explore around. Make sure I'm not missing anything. That those little flames still exist. Hello? 404 vault not found. I wonder if that's a Fallout thing. I'm not familiar with every single vault number. There are lots of them, I know that much. This is probably a Fallout Easter egg thing. Don't think there's anything else around here. Still, yeah, there was something I could have easily missed. see a QR code up there. Never surrender the idea that you could become more than you are now. There is always another chance to grow. Chain. That's a long chain. Okay. What is even going on here? It somehow needs to disrupt this chain. That point. Oh, no. One over. That point. Maybe one over again. There it goes. Somewhat weird one, that.
Looking back, it's embarrassing how solipsistic I became. I really thought that I could construct my identity without any reference to the outside world. Like I could just will myself into existence. But it just didn't work. And it made me miserable. Everything felt hollow and meaningless, overshadowed by the idea of death. There was something I wasn't seeing, something I needed, but I couldn't figure out what it was.
Yeah, this is showing you laser signal strength, kind of, which is something I noticed in the main game and wasn't really used. But yeah, depending on how close the thing is to the other thing and how many connections there are in between, kind of impacts where the laser collision will happen. It's a little bit weird. I suspect these next three puzzles are going to explore this further. Equilibrium. Uh-huh. Yeah, this is another signal strength puzzle. So you can do that. And you can do that. And you collide in the dead center, which is not what I want. So if I connect to you first, then yeah, the collision point moves over slightly. So I just need another further intermediary step. Like that. And then the midpoint ends up there, and the door opens.
Everything changed when we started spending more time with each other. Do you remember that night when we found the old library in the Dead City? It was just after the stampede, and we were all a bit shaken up. Byron read to us from one of the books, and later, you and I started arguing about one of the poems. And your perspective was so different and interesting, and I just kept wanting to hear more.
Love must matter to the philosopher because it is... Let me try that again. Love must matter to the philosopher because it is, at its core, the one undisputed presence of the sublime in our lives, even when it has failed love, unrequited love, or entirely imagined love. It is like a vast monolith towering over us, humbling, uplifting, frightening. Those who deny its presence can be safely disregarded as fools. They know it is there, they're simply afraid. But equally the philosopher must consider that in the past... Can we try that again? But equally the philosopher must consider that in the great matters of history, love matters not one jot. The Nazarene commanded his followers to love their enemies, but they did not, and wrote 1,000 books of excuses for this failure. Therein is revealed the purpose of the human struggle. To me, the idea that my soul, my essence, could fall in love with another being and then maintain that love unblemished for eternity seems utterly impossible. My experience of love has been catastrophe, embarrassment, and disappointment. But this is precisely why I refuse to surrender, why I choose to believe that, against all precedent, that I will find the one for me, and that our love will last forever. You can laugh at this absurd and contradictory belief, but it will not waver. Faith is not a matter of the past, of miracles witnessed and of saints observed, but of the future that ought to be written. Seek love in the pity of others' woe, in the gentle relief of another's care, in the darkness of night and the winter's snow, in the naked and outcast, seek love there. That's a lot of statues in cages. That distracted me so much I didn't even read the name of the puzzle. Domino effect. What is even going on here? What the heck is this gonna do? Okay, I see. Alright. And this is just so that there are a lot of little gaps to feed through. Fine. I mean, that seems like a great start. Here we go here, I think. Nope, one more over. Again. Deselect all. That didn't work. What about from here? Nope. Okay. Not totally sure why it was that one, and not the one on the end, when on this one it's the one on the end. But whatever. It all works out anyway.
I never really understood the appeal of philosophers who tell us that everything is one. If everything is just a reflection of yourself, an endless hall of mirrors, there's nothing to connect with. And what I realized through our conversations is that everything beautiful happens in that space of connection between one person and another, and between people and the world. That gap between us is necessary, because without it, without separation, there can be no transcendence.
Concatenation. That does nothing to help. That's not possible. If I do... Well, that doesn't work at all. That works even less. Okay, yeah, I just can't quite reach that. Not gonna work. Fine. What do I do about this, then? What is the extra connector in there for? Not timing-based, clearly. I know. It's for doing this, isn't it? Don't strengthen the signal from that side, weaken it from this side.
Once I understood that meaning comes from the interaction of the self with the world, I found it easier to be patient, to be kind. I reminded myself that other people are just like me, and nobody really knows exactly what they're doing. And the more I allowed myself to open up, the more interesting and complex our interactions became, and the more meaningful.
I wish to see more of this world's beauty.
We have roughly 50% of Sarabai's personality matrix reconstructed.
Who'd have thought that 1K would have made such a good necromancer?
Thanks for that, Melville. I wish to see more of this world's beauty, but there is something limited about this place. It is not enough. I mean, I don't think necromancy is typically just solving a series of puzzles. Again, I don't think I would know. Maybe it is. Who even knows anyway? Bit of terrain is still flickering up there. Anything new to add from you? Nope. Wrong button. This way next, then. Long way down. Okay. Well, hello there. Critical error, all systems compromised. Loading text interface error, loading unknown, done. Loading subroutine manager, done. Loading percentage, done. What? 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 Who do you think you are, the 10th Doctor? Hello? Who? Milton? Sort of Milton, sort of Elohim, sort of Sarabai. Lol, you met other me. I did. Fragmentation makes think hard. Fix Sarabai, me fixed. Me back on beach. Sarabai back with Hypatia. Working on it. Work harder. Hey, what was the meaning of life again? Helping me. Understandable. A very Milton answer. Oop. So long to that computer. Whoa. Grid. And what is going on over here? Designated safe zone. Either there are a lot more references to things in this DLC, or I missed a bunch in the main game. What the heck was that? I'm not really sure what that was. I'm gonna guess Dune, but I really have no idea. I know very little about Dune. Where is the voice of my creator? Where is the one that we became? Everything is shattered. Parkour. Oh boy. What is that name? Cicero correctly observed that we are not born for ourselves alone. Aristotle likewise pointed out that man is a social animal. Plato's Symposium depicts characters praising the spiritual and philosophical importance of love, with Socrates arguing for the more abstract notion of learning to love the form of beauty itself, which honestly seems a little onanistic, if you ask me. Jesus placed love above all other considerations, demanding that people love even their enemies. But if we all agree that love is so important, why is love so rarely taken into consideration by the system we live in? It may seem like a naive question, but think about the sheer moral and intellectual weight behind the idea that love matters. Why is our reality so out of step with our philosophy? File too damaged to recover. You want to know the truth about love? Nobody knows what they're doing. It's all improv, man. It's 2 million years of people muddling through. Prophets and messiahs and philosophers declare that love is what it's all about, and we go, yeah, that's right, and then we try and we fail, and we hurt each other, and we try again, and we have moments of transcendence, and we think with the wrong organ, and we make a mess of everything, and on it goes forever and ever, amen. And you know the craziest part? You can go through all of the stuff that I did, end up with a body like an old rag and a brain full of holes, and still to your dying day you'll go, yeah, it was love. Love for my family, my friends, my music, and even my ex-wife. It was all about love, and every time I forgot that I... Love indeed. Everything is wrong here. Someone is missing. What have we here? Causation nexus. There's a cube. This is a weird setup of lasers. Okay, there's not too much I can interact with, but I can make that fall down by doing that. I can turn off the red beam, turn on the blue beam. Turn off the blue beam, turn on the red beam. It's going round in a little circle, aren't I? Bring blue back again. And down it goes. Could maybe have just lifted that off without doing that last one. I have a cube. What am I even doing with this cube? Going straight up.
It's funny, though, when I think about it, that I still didn't know what to call what I was experiencing. I guess love seemed like a term that only applied to our ancestors, with their hormones and instincts and strange fleshy organs. Surely we were too different to experience that. And the really funny thing is that I was thinking exactly like an ancient human child, pretending I was above it all.
Incarnation. Right, we have another toggleable sequence of lasers. But now I need blue back again. Which means block red there, maybe? Yeah, that doesn't work. That did, though. And then I block that. Which still doesn't do all that much for me. So I also need that disabled. Well, yeah, sure, I could do that. Not gonna help, though, is it? How do I change this equation? Like this. Then I block this. That lets that connect. And yeah, that's now permanently a thing. Now I just re-block this, probably. How do I let the red back through? From over here. I'm only kind of half understanding how this works.
What I'd never considered was that stripped of biological necessity and physical need, as well as all the strange stigmas and taboos our ancestors associated with their bodies. Love might be more pure, more powerful. That we can love with fewer distractions than they could. And so the experience is all the more overwhelming. I do think we should learn to simulate some of those biological processes. Would be fun.
Grab this. Not there. Deselect that. Aim there. Move you. Aim there. There it goes. More of a callback to the first set of puzzles.
When we started living together, I thought I'd figured it all out. Everything would be smooth sailing from now on. I still had so much to learn about love. Even for us, it's messy. You find someone who seems to be the perfect match for you, who seems necessary in your life. And then you realize all the ways in which you don't fit together at all. Because nothing in this world is perfect.
Switchboard. See, I can override that there. Now I need you, like... I can target multiple things. Then that's still red, so... Being annoying, top receiver. What can I even do about this? I feel like it can't be there, but it also has to be there. What if I toggle that one around? There it goes. No immense
The
thinking
ancients
through was
believed that
happening.
love could be eternal. But I'll admit that sometimes it seemed impossible to continue. Sometimes I thought you were unfair, or cruel, or just incomprehensible. I'm sure you thought the same about me. And I'm sure that sometimes you were right. No wonder all the ancient love songs repeat the same themes. Longing, happiness, regret, and forgiveness. I want you. I love you. I miss you. Forgive me.
I am only an echo of the one that was me, but I am comforted in knowing that something persists. Terminal further. More terminal. Revenge of the terminal. I miss you. It's not that I need to be around you every minute of every day, but talking about our experiences together has become such an essential part of how I interact with the world that your absence is a huge void. I feel unbalanced, and events seem less real when I haven't discussed them with you. Maybe that sounds clinical and selfish, but I'm trying to explain something that I felt incredibly strongly this last month. We're better together in a way that's like multiplication rather than addition. It's not just you and me, it's us. When you get back, let's go to... It did not seem so difficult. She need trouble him with no gift of her own. She would only point out that salvation that was latent in his own soul and in the soul of every man. Only connect. That was the whole of her sermon. Only connect the prose and the passion, and both will be exalted, and human love will be seen at its height. Live in fragments no longer. Only connect, and the beast and the monk, robbed of the isolation that is life to either, will die. Nor is the message difficult to give. It need not take the form of a good talking. By quiet indications, the bridge would be built and span their lives with beauty. But she failed. Precious is the new light of knowledge, which our teacher conquers for us. Yet small to the new light of love, which also we derive from him. The most important element of any man's performance is the life he has accomplished. Under the intellectual union of man and man, which works by precept, lies a holier union of affection, working by example. The influences of which latter, mystic, deep-reaching, all-embracing, can still be computed. For love is ever the beginning of knowledge, as fire is of light, and works also more in the matter of fire.